It is time to face off, brought to you by Empire City Gaming at Yonkers Raceway. Mark Malusis and Jonas Schwartz are here tonight, and I begin with you, Moose. Hey, what do you do with this bullpen? I
mean, Gary, your guess is as good as mine right now. I mean, I think what Jerry Manuel and Dan Worthen are trying to do with the bullpen by the committee, you have to find out what the case is going to be with Billy Wagner for the rest of the season. Once that is determined, if he is done for the year, then I think it becomes imperative for Omar Minaya. If that ends up being the case, Omar Minaya's got to try and find somebody, a live arm, and that's not Ayala. Listen, Ayala was pitching to 1-8 record, 5.77 ERA down in Washington this year. I don't think he's going to provide the answer. But aside from that, right now, you got to play with the hand that you were dealt, and I think that's what Jerry Manuel and Worthen. You got to try and find the hot hand right now, Jonas.
You know what, Moose? The problem is that the only guys who are going to get through waivers and get to you without being blocked are the Ayalas, the 5.77 ERAs. I mean, I think it's a real problem. You have to hope Billy Wagner can come back and be effective. And Juaner Sanchez, remember, Jerry Manuel said Sanchez had hit a little period where his arm went a little bit dead as he had started pitching back from that injury. And, you know, it's time for that arm to liven up. It's been dead now for a couple weeks. It's time for him to get his effectiveness back because he is the guy that can make a difference in this bullpen. Heilman's going to be inconsistent. Really, the rest of them are going to be inconsistent. He's the guy who's got to step up.
You know what, Jonas, and the thought process out there as far as maybe making a starting pitcher or reliever, to me, is absolutely crazy. Why are you going to rob from Peter to pay Paul? I mean, the starting rotation last 7 games has been absolutely brilliant. I know you wanted to see a little bit more length from John Maine. He's complained a little bit about tenderness in his arm. His velocity was down, couldn't command the strike. But to now all of a sudden throw John Maine and make him your closer, should Wagner be done for the season, to me is ludicrous.
And by the way, if his velocity is down, you're limiting your pitches when you go to the bullpen. It's going to be fastball, breaking pitch. And if that fastball doesn't have the velocity, it's a recipe for disaster.
All right, what about Eddie Coons now, guys? They sent him back to the minors to make room for Ayala. Coons not very good on Saturday. He gave up 3 runs. Did Jerry Manuel, Jonas, handle Coons the right way? And have they hurt him at all for the future, in your opinion?
You know, I don't think the question is whether Jerry Manuel used him in the right way. I think the question is, should he have been brought up in the first place? And the answer to that, if you look at it through hindsight, is no. Never given up a home run in professional baseball. Gave one up pretty early in his Mets stay. And then, of course, got knocked around on Saturday. It depends on mentally how tough this kid is. Does he take this mark as, you know what, I learned a little bit about stepping up here in play, and I can go back and now figure out what I have to do? Or does he get mentally hurt? I think the kid's tough enough. I think he'll figure out how to handle it.
Well, Jonas, I hope he is, because if he gets mentally hurt by this, then that's a problem for this Meta organization for Eddie Coons down the line. I mean, he's got to be able to take this, learn from it. I don't think they've handled this situation the right way. I don't think Jerry Manuel has. He hinted about maybe having him close games out. That never turned out to be the case. But do I think this is going to maybe all of a sudden hurt this guy down the line? I don't. I agree with you. I think he is mentally savvy enough, mentally tough enough to be able to take this little hiccup as far as his career goes in his young career and move forward. I think he's going to be just fine down the line.
All right, Mark Malusis.